Hey everyone, it's Andrea Black. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of my podcast. I'm so excited about this subject, and I'll just warn you guys, I'll probably get a little riled up about it because it is the topic I am most passionate about. And if it's not, then it's definitely in the top three. And I think we should all take some time to reflect on it and just make sure that we are doing what's best for ourselves. So I'll just jump right in. My question to start off is, do you hate your job? Or do you even just dislike your job? I have had so many jobs that I disliked or hated. And after I left my most recent job, I made a pact to myself, a promise that I will never put myself in a situation again where I dislike my job or it is not serving me or I even hate it, anything like that. And it has taken a long time for me to reach this place where I am setting this boundary. Now, I fully realize that we need money, obviously. We need money in order to survive, especially during these times, a pandemic and then inflation. I get that. I also understand that no matter what, there are going to be stressful times and challenging times at a job. I get that. There's no way you can just avoid stress or problems, no matter what you do. And I accept that. But my thinking is, if stress and challenges are inevitable, why don't we at least do a job that we like so that when there is stress and when there are challenges, we feel more passionate and excited to overcome those things as opposed to being miserable. So if you already dislike your job and then you've got the stress and challenges on top of that, you're just going to be miserable. And if you're working full-time, let's just say 40 hours a week, let's go off of that. That is a lot of time to spend doing something that you don't like. Like we always hear, you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family. And it's really sad, but if you're working full-time, it's true. And if you are spending all that time away from your family and you hate what you do while you're spending all that time away from your family, that is just so depressing. And it has driven me crazy. And now I'm just not accepting that in my life anymore. So I just want to ask, are you fulfilled in your job? Do you feel passionate about it? Do you feel excited when you wake up and get ready to go to work? Are you excited and happy to be doing what you're doing? Do you feel like you are serving a purpose? Are you fulfilling your purpose? Are you doing what you are meant to be doing when you walk through that door of your place of employment? Or if you work at home, do you feel like you are living your fullest potential and that you're doing what you're meant to do? Or do you feel burnt out? Do you feel anxiety, stress, depression, dread at the thought of going to work, or even just when you're laying in bed and you can't sleep, you're thinking of work? Does it just make you dread the next time you have to go to work? Do you feel bored when you're working? Do you feel distracted, like you're on your phone a lot, you're talking to people, you're trying to find something else to do other than your work because you just don't want to do it? And it's not just laziness, it's because you just don't like what you're doing. Do you feel like you are, as the saying goes, working for the weekend? And that is how I felt at most of my jobs. I would even accept jobs that I knew I wasn't going to like. And as I say that, it sounds silly, but I feel like a lot of people do that. You need a job, you see a job posting, you think, okay, I think I'm qualified for that. I don't think I'll like it, but hey, it's money. I need money. I might as well apply. And then you go to the interview and you think, yeah, the interview went pretty well. If they offer it to me, I guess I'll take it. And I haven't applied for anything else, or I haven't heard from any of the other places I applied for. And then you get offered the job and it's like, here we go. At least it's a paycheck. And then it's everything you thought it would be, or worse. And you just don't feel like you are living out your purpose, and you just have no energy. You get home from work and you're crabby, and you have no positive energy to give to any other part of your life. So not only is this job now taking away, let's say, 40 hours of your week, but it's actually taking away more than that, because you take that negative energy home with you or wherever else you go after work. It's hard to shake that feeling if you're constantly doing something you don't want to do. And I think my theory is that this has been partially caused by an older generation, like many, many years ago when jobs first became a thing. My theory is that when jobs first started, I think that most people probably didn't enjoy the jobs because they were labor intensive or monotonous, and it was just something like people had to work to make money to get by, and it wasn't a lot of money that they made. And I know a lot of us feel that way now with inflation, but back then there weren't that many opportunities or varieties in work when jobs first became a thing. And so I think the idea became, you have to work hard so that you make money in order to get by, and so your family can get by. And that's just how it is. That's how life goes. Suck it up and do it. And in a way, I think that this hardworking attitude is a good thing, because I do agree you should work hard, and you need to work hard for, good things to happen. You need to work hard to get results. So this hardworking attitude that came from this period of time, I think that's really good. However, I think the idea that your job that you do cannot be something that you enjoy, I think that idea has been carried and passed down a lot, not through all families, not for everybody. I'm not saying, I don't speak in absolutes, but I think a lot of people have this idea that because it is a job that helps your family meet their basic needs, you're not allowed to enjoy it. And I do see that a lot. I do hear it a lot still. Like, well, it's a job. You're not supposed to like your job. Of course, it's not fun. You have to do it. I mean, you just have to. That's how it is. That's how life is. Work just sucks. You hear all this negative talk about work. And if you enjoy what you're doing, well, then you must not be working hard. Or the way that you can do what you enjoy is to just do it as a side hobby for very little time, because your work that you hate is taking up the majority of your time. So you save that little free time that you have for your hobby, which is what you actually really like to do. And so I agree with the concept of working hard. I love that. I do not agree with the concept that you cannot enjoy your job and work is just something that sucks. And I also think, I know that from past generations, they are very used to staying at a job until retirement. So you'll hear people have been at their jobs for like 50 plus years, the same job, and they hated it. They complained about it all the time. But a job is a job, and for some reason they have in their head, this is the only job I can do forever until I retire and collect that retirement. So I do still see that attitude in a lot of people. even younger people sometimes. And honestly, the thought of being at the same job or just like doing the same thing for that long, it makes me panic. It makes me feel trapped. If you are happy doing that, that's my other thing. If you are happy in your job, if you feel fulfilled, if you feel like that's where you want to be right now because that's just where you are in your life, or you think even 20 years from now, you still want to be where you are right now at this job, and that'll make you happy, that's amazing, because isn't the goal to be happy and fulfilled? I think so. So if you already feel that way, then that's amazing. But if you don't feel that way, if you don't feel fulfilled, and if you want more from your life and you want to live up to your potential, then it's not good to stay stuck, to stay somewhere that you don't like, to stay somewhere where you don't see that you can advance. So that is what I am trying to get at. I'm not saying that everyone has to, go for the craziest jobs or get all these degrees, all these, letters after their name. If you want to do that, that's amazing. If you don't, that's also perfectly fine. The goal, I think, for everybody, everyone should want, and I believe everyone does deserve, to feel happy and fulfilled with what they do. If you don't want to work and your family can afford to have you not work, and you just want to stay at home with your family, that is amazing too. That is hard work as well. Whatever you want to do that makes you fulfilled, that is what you should do. So if you are in a situation where you hate what you do, I do not believe that you should stay in that situation. Obviously, yes, like I said in the beginning, I'm aware that you need money. I get that. Trust me. But it is possible for you to make money doing something that you actually enjoy. And you deserve that. You deserve that so much. You can work hard. You can work your ass off and love it and make money for it. And that's okay. Like, that's not a bad thing. I know some people say, like, I love my job so much, it doesn't even feel like work. I wish we could all have that feeling. Where people say, I love my job so much, I can't believe I get paid for it because I just love it. It's my passion. I want that for everybody. I'm searching for that for myself. I told myself I will not do something that I hate. I refuse. I will not do that anymore. So if you feel like you're trapped at your job, like, are you allowed to be creative? Do you feel safe to be creative? Do you feel like it's okay for you to be your true self? Do you feel like you are fulfilling and reaching your goals and your dreams? Or are you just a pawn in someone else's plan? So whether it's your executive director, your supervisor, the CEO, whatever the title may be of someone above you, if you feel like you are just a pawn in their plan and you're helping them reach their goals, but you don't feel like you're able to reach any of your goals and you don't feel fulfilled, that is not good. And that is how I felt. I felt that way a few times, where all of the employees are just pawns in someone else's game, and you are helping someone else fulfill their dreams, and you're not getting paid that much money for all the work you do, and you're helping them achieve all of their goals and dreams, while all of your goals and your dreams are left pushed to the side, forgotten, buried under dust. That's how I felt. And if that's how you feel, that's not okay. And the people at the top, they may do way less work than you do. They may not know what they're even doing, but they're at the top somehow. They got there. I see this so many times. I will talk to somebody. I've talked to many of my supervisors at past jobs, and I've thought, like, how? How did you get there? Like, it's just crazy. That's how this world is. And I hate to say it, but that's how this world is. People can get these high positions and not know what they're doing, what they're talking about, get paid way much more than the people who are actually doing the work. And I just think that is so unfair. So why would you stay? I understand, because I stayed for a long time. Because it's safe, because it's a paycheck, it's a secure source of income. You know it's going to keep coming. Yes, you hate every day you're there, but you think, well, tomorrow's payday, so at least there's that. I get that. Trust me, I get that. But I do fully believe that we should be doing what we want to do and are meant to do. And that does not mean that I think everyone should sit around and do nothing all day long. Like, I still want to work hard. I still believe in working hard. I think that is the stigma, that if you're doing something you love, that it can't be your career. That's just a hobby. No. We have to break that stigma. And I love when people break that stigma. There are, people who are rich off of playing video games. And I have my thoughts about that, both good and But on the one hand, I'm like, good for you. You are doing what you love to do. It was just a hobby, and now you are making way more than I make, doing something you love, something that a lot of people love to do just in their free time. And now that's your career. Hats off to you. So I admire that part. It's just sometimes taking the steps to switch gears and leave your current situation to start something new, that's scary. It's very scary. There are unknowns, so many unknowns. And another common fear, I think, is, well, I went to school for something that I don't want to do. So if I leave this career and go into a completely different field, I just wasted all this time because I'm not doing what I went to school for. That's me. I mean, when you are, you start choosing your, college and your major in 11th grade, you're like 16, 17. It's just insane. That is so young. At the time, we think we know it all. Maybe you don't think you know it all at the time, because there are a lot of people that don't know what they want to do yet. And so they take that time off before they choose what their major is, before they choose if they even want to go to college or not. And I don't know about you, but back when I was graduating, the expectation was you go to college. And if you didn't, people probably thought negative things about you. Now, looking back, I'm like, how awful is that? Especially now, because the current state of our student loans, it's just a crock of shit. It is. I'm sorry. I'm not one to get off on these tangents or political rants, but stop messing with our feelings. Stop giving us hope and then crushing all of our hope. Just do it. Just do something. It's all about politics. It's all about people's image. So I just think that the education system is completely screwed up. It is just effed up. I discovered my true passion, and it has nothing to do with what I went to school for. What I paid, $80,000 for, plus interest, and probably like $120,000 now. Yeah, and now I want nothing to do with that. That was hard for me to come to terms with. And for a while I was like, well, I went to school for it, so I have to stick with it. Otherwise, what a waste of time. I no longer think that, because I would rather change gears completely and be happy than to spend years of my life doing something that I don't want to do, that I decided to do when I was still a child. Not even an adult yet, chose what my whole future was going to be. I mean, how many people end up not doing what they went to school for? Can you blame them? You made that choice when you were a teenager. It's just ridiculous. So I made that decision. That field that I was in, not for me. I thought it was. It's not. It's something that I do enjoy, but I don't want it to be my entire career, my whole life. I just don't want it to be that. But I also made the decision, because of how screwed up the education system is, I refuse to go back to school. I am not spending another 4 years, another $100,000 to get another degree to switch gears. I'm not doing that either. Unless it was free or heavily discounted, I am not going back to school. That is my stance right now. So I'm just going to make it work. I mean, I have a degree. A lot of places, yeah, they say they want or they prefer a degree in something. But if you have a degree in something else, that doesn't discount you. And if it does, screw them. I mean, of course, I think education is important, but getting a college degree is not the end all be all. I'm sorry, it's just not. And if you have a college degree, that shouldn't stop you from being able to switch gears a little bit. You should be able to get knowledge in the field you want to go to and be fully capable of doing that. So that was just my little tangent about education there. But I think that is a common reason people feel like they're stuck. They committed all this time and money, so they have to stay in this career until they retire. And it makes me kind of like, I get goosebumps. I get tears in my eyes thinking about this. Just imagine you are 90 years old and you look back at your life. Would you be happy that you stayed in the career or at the same exact job you are now, knowing that you hated it, disliked it, wasn't for you, wasn't fulfilling your passion, wasn't making you live up to your potential? Would you, on your deathbed, be happy with what you accomplished? Or would you be regretful for what you didn't accomplish? Would the 5-year-old in you, who is so full of life, so excited, you see all these things in the world, all these possibilities and opportunities. What about that 5-year-old you inside of you that still is a part of you and wants to feel fulfilled? What about that part of yourself? You've got this younger version and your future older version. Would they be disappointed in you if you still keep doing what you're doing right now? I know that I would be if I had stayed where I was. I'm getting teary-eyed. If I were on my deathbed and I looked back at my life, I would have felt so much regret, so much disappointment, so much resentment and anger at myself. What are the reasons I always try to think, if I were to look back, what would the reasons have been that I didn't go for what I wanted or that I didn't go for what I felt was meant for me? Because I didn't want to switch careers? Okay, switching careers could have taken a couple years and then I'd be happy versus spending an eternity unhappy. So that's stupid. Okay, what's another reason? Let's think. Fear. Okay, fear of what? Fear of putting myself out there. So what? People are going to judge you. They're going to talk crap about you no matter what you do. Just do what you want to do. Who cares? What is another fear? Fear of not just being judged, but fear of failure. Okay. How many times do you do something and get it right on the first time? I have to remind myself of this every single day. Failure just happens. It needs to happen. Just like in working out. I always think of this. If you want to grow muscle, your muscles have to go through failure. That is literally what it is called. So, I mean, you can't expect yourself to just get something right on the first try. And if you don't get it right, then you're a failure. And then, oh, well, there goes all my hopes and dreams. No. Also, if you do something that you don't want to do for your whole life, you're going to fail in that too. You're going to have days where you don't do something right. You're going to have failures. So you might as well have failures doing something you actually enjoy. So if I were on my deathbed thinking back to reasons I didn't do what I wanted to do, fear of failure, I would be so disappointed in myself. If I just know. It's hard for me to think of staying small and staying unhappy and seeing, like, looking back at my years and just seeing what I didn't do, knowing what I could have done. It is hard to make that switch. It is scary to take that leap, to make a change, to put yourself out there, to go for your passion, to, try to find your happiness and feel fulfilled. It is scary as hell. Of course it is. But to me, what's even scarier is to know that you didn't accomplish what you could have accomplished. Because when you're on that deathbed, you can't go back. So I also want to teach my kids to go for what they want. I mean, if my son or daughter came up to me and they wanted to do something that sounded so difficult, I would encourage it. I would, be realistic and not tell them it would be super easy, but I'm not going to encourage them to do something safe and easy just because it's safer and easier and not as scary. I've done so many things in my life because they were the easier, less scary choice. But it doesn't feel good, at least for me, in the long run. It does not feel good because although I didn't, go out there and get harshly judged, or I didn't fail publicly, I didn't have this huge financial failure. Even though I didn't go through all of that, which could have happened, that was what I was scared of. I would have rather gone through those things and know that I tried, or even gone through those things and surpassed them, overcome them, and reached success, than to have stayed small like I was doing. So I just want us all to take some time to really think about our lives and think, is it worth it to stay in a situation like a job that you know isn't meant for you? Is it really worth it to just stay small, stay unhappy, just so you can get by? And it's not like we're making millions out here doing what we hate. I mean, for a lot of us, it feels like we're making pennies. I'm sick of working my ass off, making pennies just for a guaranteed paycheck. That doesn't sound safe to me anymore. Doesn't sound happy. It doesn't sound safe. It doesn't sound like something I would approve of in my later life. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions. I know this is, again, an uncomfortable subject because a lot of these are because it's about personal and professional development. It's hard to face these things. So just know you're not alone. And I'm here for you. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, I would appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a like, thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and share my video just to get it out there in the community. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Andrea Black, and thank you for joining me on this podcast.